What can you tell us about it?
Very little.
We can tell you. We can tell you that the show. Look, the show is not called Large Crater in the Ground 13. So because it's not, and they're not retitling it that, I can tell you, yes, we are going to have Warehouse 13 again. But we've known for a long. The writers know that if there's just an artifact for this person's death or this destruction, and it's easy, it's too easy, the fans aren't going to take it seriously. So I'll let Allison tell you. Consequences.
Consequences are a major, major theme this year. Where last year we really explored how our characters' pasts affect them in the future, and how a particular young boy who had an artifact was shaped by that for the bad growing up. This year is about exploring the fact that the decisions we make to protect the greater good are not always black and white, that there's a downside to everything. We learn where artifacts come from. There's an episode where it's very brief, but we learn the birth of an artifact, and it's frustrating and it's scary, and but it's also surrounded by the fact that we're a family, and the actions we take are generally out of a love for each other and also our responsibility for the world.
The best shows on television that I like, the writers take a premise and they don't hold on to it. They're willing to throw it up in the air and take chances with the characters, where they're going to go. They stretch the abilities of the actors to the utmost, to the breaking point. And so you feel, when you're watching a show, great, when you're watching great television, like, Dexter, Breaking Bad, and shows that I like, you feel that the actors are vested in the chances that the writers are taking. And the recipients, the happy recipients of that treasure is the audience, because they are not going to know where it's going to go. Well, I'm thrilled to say that our writers have taken those kinds of chances with seasons 4A and B. We're doing 20. They're divided up into 10 new shows for this summer, starting on July 23rd every Monday at 9, and then again in April it starts again, another 10 shows, so season 4A and B. And they have raised the bar considerably. They have not rested on the laurels of past successes. The studio and the network have allowed them to take chances. There's a lot of trust involved, and well-deserved for being a successful show. And our fans have said go for it. Really have. By giving you an example, a really specific example, well, in the past, they give you a perfect example. They created a dark character. The very first thing they did was create a villain Roger Rees played called McPherson. And then you realize he's not just a villain. He was a partner of Artie's. They were friends. They fell in love with the same woman. There's a simpatico between them. They're not so different. Then he frees HG, who is not just one thing, as you find out.
Very complex.
Very complex character. There's no villain. It doesn't have a light side or a noble side. And there's no noble character that doesn't also have a dark side. They've really challenged us. We're not a procedural. We're not resting on Artifact of the Week. The writers have created a show where every episode is different in some ways from every other episode, and that's been true for 3 seasons. Season 4, they're saying it's a different series in a way than you've ever seen before. In a way. You'll recognize it as far as 13, and there'll be things about this season that you'll go, oh my God, I didn't know they would go that far.
So will we see more of Claudia and Artie's father, daughter, and kind of some
She's growing up.
Our relationship evolves just like any parent and child or mentor and apprentice co-worker relationship evolves, and
you don't
it
rest
matures.
with the same stuff.
No, not at all.
I mean, we do have some lingering, banter, but she's growing into a young woman. She's no longer a teenager, and I'm dealing with a colleague rather than an apprentice, and that creates friction and difficulties, as it would in any life, and that's what our writers know, is that if they recreate a family, a real family dynamic that's got the organic growth and mistakes and consequences that happen in real life, then our fans will come back. Otherwise, no stakes, no audience. Right?
Right.
Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.